Child homelessness surges by 80% under conservative-led government, figures show.
Here's a summary of the article.
Child homelessness has surged by 80% since the Conservatives came into government in 2010, with a new household now found to be homeless every 5 minutes, official figures show. The figures show that overall, the number of households in temporary accommodation stood at 83,700 in December 2018, marking a 74% rise since 2010. More than 1 in 5 households found to be homeless or threatened with homelessness lost their last settled home due to the ending of a private rented tenancy. The government figures also show that within this group, there has been a considerable surge in families with children living in B&Bs, with the number increasing from 660 to 2,420, a 267% rise, between 2010 and 2018. Shadow Housing Minister Alex Cunningham said the shameful rise in homeless children stuck in temporary accommodation would be the legacy of this failed Conservative government. Rising homelessness is a crisis of the Tories' own making, as we've seen investment in the number of low-cost homes to buy and rent tumble. Add to that cuts in housing benefit, reduced funding for homelessness services, and a private rental sector lacking any real protections, and we know why so many are being let down, he added. The bottom line is that you can't solve homelessness without building homes people can actually afford to live in. So, if housing really is the government's top domestic issue, it needs to get serious about a new generation of social homes, 3.1 million to be exact. And in the meantime, increase housing benefits so that it at least covers the basic cost of private rent.
This post received a score of 26,011, with an upvote ratio of 80%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Make England Victorian again.
Brilliant. Solve child homelessness by putting them all up the chimney.
You're doing it wrong, man. You are supposed to put them down the chimney. More energy efficient, as you don't need to fight gravity.
But you had to get them above the chimney somehow.
Trebuchet.
Trebuchet.
Perfect. No notes. Just perfect.
I wonder if high house prices could have contributed to this? House price graph.
That and the lack of new council housing are almost certainly 2 large contributing factors. My town has recently had a new residential estate built, and guess what? Available homes from £434,995. As far as I know, this estate has 0 facilities or shops, just disgustingly expensive housing as far as the eye can see that pretty much no locals can afford.
I also blame the estate agent culture, and those daytime TV programs aimed at the elderly with pension pots sure go buy a few more houses, pushing demand and prices up. Those TV programs. I also wonder how these young couples can get a mortgage for £400,000 plus. What sort of jobs would afford a salary to allow a late 20s couple to access a mortgage for that?
Dave sells coffee out of an old can of paint in an abandoned factory, and Jessica knits jumpers for worms. Their house budget is £500,000.
Glad to see those shows exist across the pond. I swear I watch just to hear their budget and wonder what their side hustle is.
I think they make up interesting jobs for people or greatly exaggerate their hobby, side hustle. Nobody wants to see an investment banker and a lawyer looking at expensive houses. Maybe it makes them more down to earth?
Couldn't say, but I'll admit I never considered them just making up weird jobs. Even when they have jobs, I'm vaguely aware of their budget is astronomical. Me and the wife do well, and I can't imagine having a budget like some of them have.
There's a guy that runs a little coffee stall out of a converted horse trailer by the train station near me. He's pretty well off and lives in a huge house. The coffee stall is just a hobby now that he's retired. If he did one of these shows, you can guarantee they'd say he runs a little coffee stall, not that he's a retired management consultant.
All you need to get a business started in my city is $97 a trip to get your paperwork, and if you are doing food, another $60 or so, and a trip to the 3rd floor of the health department. The trick is to do a few days, shifts yourself, get the name out, the money flowing, and some regulars, and then to hire out the shift for as low a price you can. I'm not saying, jump on minimum wage, since you can expect turnover, but if you can reasonably hold someone in a position for 6 months at $10 an hour tips for making coffee at farmers market, then totally go for it. I use coffee as an example, but I'm working on a ramen cart trying to get it up and in the pot for August.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.